If you ever wanted to talk to someone but were worried that you'd come off as creepy, this video is for you. After years of talking to strangers, I found 5 common mistakes that people make all the time that make people instantly uncomfortable. So I want to break each of them down so that you know how to approach people so you don't come off as a weirdo. Let's dive in. So for starters, I'm going to break down what it even means to be creepy, because we talk about it all the time, but nobody ever gives a definition. When you are creepy, or when someone is creepy to you, it just means that you have a feeling of fear about them based on something they did. And the thing they're actually scared about is that you might do something to them. You might harm them, you might act weird around them. It's some level of unease about you. So someone who is generally super creepy would do things that most people would be scared of or made uneasy by. But on the other side of the spectrum, somebody who is not creepy at all does something that nobody is fearful of. Nobody is made uneasy by anything they're doing. So that's what we're going to talk about here with these 5, right? How to avoid doing things that are going to make the person fearful. So the first thing is actually going to be scaring them. And I tried to draw a ghost. I hope it's coming off on camera. But what it means is that there are plenty times where you might end up actually startling somebody in their day-to-day, especially if you approach them and you are out of their eyesight, right? So they are looking this way and you come up behind them and you're like, hey, that is going to make most people jump. They're going to be startled, and you're already starting off on the wrong foot because you're a stranger and you've just startled this person. It's going to be very easy for them to be scared or fearful of you, aka you diving into the creepy category. So the easiest thing to avoid startling somebody is just to make sure that when you approach them, you are in their field of view, right? So let's say this is the person, right? And they are looking out in that direction. You want to come in from here or here, right? You don't want to be here, right? That's not where you want to be. You don't want to be back here. You want to be in front of their field of view. You also want to be known to them. So this person might be reading a book or on their phone. You want to wait for them to have a chance to look up and see you before you approach them. And that is how you avoid mistake number 1, startling them. Real quick, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm offering free advice calls for all of my subscribers. This is a call where I'll identify what is holding you back from being the most social, confident, and connected person you can be, and give you some really practical and fast tips to get better. This is completely free and it's a limited time thing. So if you're interested, click subscribe and then click the link in the description. So the second mistake you want to avoid is the location. The location or the setting that you're trying to meet and approach the person in. If you're in a dark alleyway and it's only the person there and you approach them, honestly, no matter how you look, no matter what you are as a person, that is probably going to freak most people out because they're going to be fearful of you already, right? So generally, what I like to do is you want to be and approach people in areas that are well lit and areas that also have other people, because that level of isolation is also something that people are very fearful of. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of unease from the person and they don't know what you might do to them, right? That's just going to be the reality. That is a key big mistake to avoid if you don't want to be creepy. Don't approach in the wrong setting. Now, the third mistake that I think people make a ton is this sort of deadpan face. Going back to the idea that creepiness comes from fear, right? Fear comes from uncertainty, when you don't understand what is going on in the other person's head. So imagine somebody you don't know was approaching you and this was their face. You're going to be understandably fearful because this person kind of has a resting bitch face. You don't know what is going on. You're a bit fearful, right? However, if someone approached you and they looked at you like, right? There is a whole different feeling. You start to feel a little bit more at ease because at least you know the person is in a positive mood. They're smiling at you. You know they're going to be generally more in a good mood rather than in a bad one. So that is the mistake a lot of people make when they try to approach people. They come in with either a neutral face or looking genuinely angry, and that makes people feel like, whoa, what is this guy gonna do to me? What is the problem? Is this person mad at me? What's going on? That gets you in a ton of trouble. So the best way to avoid this is when you approach someone to look at them and smile, right? Give them those wide pearly whites and show them that you are not a threat. You are not someone who's mad at them or angry at them. You are coming with good energy and they'll be a lot more receptive to you. So this next one is pretty underrated, and we'll see if I can draw it. But it's one people don't think about a lot at all, but it is your clothing. And what a lot of people don't recognize is your clothing, or just your physical appearance in general, is the person's first perception of you, especially if you're trying to approach a stranger or someone you barely know. And when your clothing shows that you're not on the same wavelength as the other person, that is a red flag for them. So for example, if your clothing is very worn out or faded or tattered or looks suspicious, and in that way I mean like you're wearing a hoodie and your hood is pulled up, that is going to be a red flag for people to be like, ooh, this guy is a little weird. Like, is he homeless? What's happening, right? It also goes the same way if you're wearing clothing that is really inappropriate, like it has a lot of cuss words, or it has nudity, or like those anime curls on it. That is also going to be a signal for people like, oh, this guy is like into like alternative stuff, it's a little weird, and that might give them that creepy feeling. So the basic fix for this is to wear well-fitted, not worn out, and generally in-style clothing. If you feel lost, you could check out the Male Fashion Advice Reddit. They have a ton of amazing guides and recommendations. And the final mistake that people make all of the time is they don't give a reason. They leave the person in a stage of uncertainty about them. So just imagine somebody came up and started talking to you without giving any sort of reason or context for the conversation. They just started to ask like, oh, so where do you work? Oh, well, what's your job? Oh, where did you come from? Like, where do you live? And all these sorts of get to know you questions without giving any layer of context. And this is a big problem, a big mistake I've made, and also I've seen a lot of people make, is they don't give a reason. Remember, fear comes from uncertainty. So the less uncertainty you can bring in the person, the more comfortable they're gonna feel. What I like to do with strangers, especially when it's a cold approach, is I like to give a very solid reason. Oh, I've been seeing you in class all the time and I just wanted to introduce myself. Boom, right? They know why you've come up and the context, and potentially the future being that you want to make friends eventually. Or something like, bro, I thought that was a sick Metallica shirt. I just wanted to talk about it because it's my favorite band. You've given a reason behind it, and now people know, okay, this is what this is about. It's not somebody who is coming up and doesn't have social intelligence. It's not someone trying to scam me or get money from me. It's a guy who's interested in this specific thing. That's why they want to talk. So with that, those are the 5 common mistakes that people usually make that make them come off as creepy or awkward or weird. There are tons and tons of other reasons people might feel that way about you, but these are the key ones, and probably the ones that will help you solve 90% of the issues that you might be having. If you enjoyed this video, you're probably going to enjoy this one as well, where I give some more mistakes that you might be making when you interact with people that just make them dislike you. So you can click here to see that. I've been Isaiah, and I hope that you've learned something from all of this and that it can help you with your interactions. If you want some personalized and free advice directly from me, make sure to click subscribe and then click the link in the description. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and above all else, I hope you keep connecting. Take care and good luck.